You hear that crackle, fire settling into old wood. Cold always wakes the scars. Left leg reminds me I'm still here, out there. They call this peace. I call it quiet before something moves. I left the battlefield years ago. Brothers. But don't let the silence fool you. The war doesn't always end when the shooting stops. Sometimes it just learns how to whisper. That's when the breach comes. A so-called safe zone. A rainy harbor. One cropped video. Power knocking like it owns the door. Bringing hired eyes. False stories. And a boardroom blade aimed at the unseen man who held the line. So let me ask you this. When the corner closes in, do you run? Or do you stand and protect what's right? Sit down with me. There's a lesson here about survival, loyalty, and the cost of staying quiet. Stay with your brother. Let's walk it together. The man in the red-black flannel. Cold rain drifted through Savannah after Christmas, thin and steady, turning cobblestone streets slick and shining while wind rolled in from the river, carrying the smell of salt, rust, and wet iron. Cole Mercer walked with a measured pace, his left leg lagging half a beat behind the right. Most people would not notice it unless they knew what to look for. Cole knew. He felt it with every step. The ache was dull tonight, manageable, like an old memory that never fully left. He wore the same thing he always did when he worked nights. A red and black flannel shirt, faded at the elbows, dark jeans, worn boots that knew these streets better than most tourists ever would. Beside him moved Bruno, a 5-year-old German shepherd, black and tan, broad-chested and alert. The dog's black harness sat firm across his back, white letters clear even in the rain. Service dog, do not pet. Cole kept one hand loosely on the leash. Not because Bruno needed it, but because the world needed reminding. Savannah at night could feel like two cities stacked on top of each other. The pretty one, with warm lights and laughter spilling from bars. And the other, quieter and sharper, where docks creaked, alarms hummed, and mistakes carried weight. Cole worked in that second city. He was 40 now, too old to pretend the past had not shaped him. Too disciplined to complain about it. He had learned long ago that silence was easier than explaining things people did not want to hear. The Navy had taught him how to move. Life after had taught him how to disappear. Bruno slowed suddenly. Cole felt it before he saw it. The tension in the leash, the shift in the dog's shoulders. Bruno's ears angled forward, eyes fixed down the street. Easy, Cole murmured, low enough that only the dog could hear. Ahead, a sleek black sedan sat crooked near the edge of a flooded side road by the port. Its rear wheel spun uselessly, spraying muddy water. The engine revved, panicked, then stalled. Cole sighed once. He did not enjoy getting involved, but he had never been good at walking past trouble either. He approached carefully, Bruno at heel. The car door swung open, and a woman stepped out, heels slipping on wet stone. She caught herself against the frame, jaw tight, posture rigid. She was in her mid-30s, maybe 35, tall, slim, wrapped in a long charcoal coat that probably cost more than Cole's monthly rent. Her hair, light brown with hints of gold, was pulled back neatly. The rain had begun to loosen it. Her face was sharp, controlled, but her eyes betrayed strain. Not fear exactly, pressure. She looked at Cole the way people in power often did, quickly, assessing, deciding what category he belonged in. "I'm fine," she said before he spoke. Her voice was calm, practiced. The car just lost traction. Cole nodded once. Roads flooded. Tires won't catch. He kept his tone neutral. No edge, no warmth, just fact. She followed his gaze to the water pooling beneath the wheels, her lips pressed together. She did not like being stuck. That much was clear. She was the kind of woman who moved through doors, not waited beside them. "Can you help?" she asked. Not please. Not yet. Her shoulders were squared, chin lifted, as if help were a transaction she expected to manage. Cole crouched, ignoring the protest in his knee. Checked the angle of the tires, the depth of the water. He had done this 100 times in worse places, under louder skies. "I can get you clear," he said, "but you'll need to cut the engine." She hesitated, then nodded. "Do it." While he worked, Bruno stood watch, body still, eyes scanning the street. A group of young people passed on the opposite sidewalk, laughing, phones out. One of them noticed the dog and started to drift closer. "Hey, cool dog," the kid said, reaching out. Cole straightened. "Don't." The word was quiet, but firm. The kid laughed. "Relax. Man." Bruno did not move, but his gaze hardened. "He's working," Cole said. "Service dog." The kid rolled his eyes, lifted his phone instead, angling it just right. Cole saw the lens catch the harness lettering, saw the smirk forming. He knew that look, the look that meant context would be optional later. The woman watched this exchange from the car, unreadable. She did not intervene. She did not apologize. She waited. Cole finished guiding the sedan back onto stable ground. Mud splashed his jeans. Rain soaked his flannel. He stepped back and nodded. "You're clear." Relief flickered across her face, brief and controlled. She reached into her coat, pulled out her phone, tapped quickly. "Thank you," she said, already distracted. "I'll have someone look at this road." She glanced at Bruno once more, then at Cole, as if finally seeing him, or at least trying to. "I'm Evelyn Hart," she added, almost as an afterthought. The name landed heavier than the rain. Cole recognized it immediately. CEO of Heartline Shipping, the woman whose photo hung in glass hallways he passed through on contract jobs. The kind of person who signed decisions that never touched the ground. "Cole," he said. Nothing more. She paused, perhaps expecting a reaction. Praise. Deference. Something. It did not come. Evelyn Hart nodded once, climbed back into her car, and drove off, taillights dissolving into the wet night. Cole stood there for a moment longer than necessary, not because of her, because of the phone still pointed his way across the street. Bruno shifted closer, brushing Cole's leg. "I know," Cole said quietly. "Let it go." They turned back toward the docks, rain tapping steady against metal and stone. Somewhere behind them, a clip was already being born, cropped, tilted, waiting. Cole did not know it yet, but the night had already chosen him, and so had regret. 10 minutes to regret. Morning rain lingered over Savannah, gray and low, mist clinging to the glass towers near the port, while traffic hissed along wet streets and the river moved slow and heavy beyond the docks. Cole Mercer arrived early, as he always did. The security office smelled faintly of coffee and damp concrete. He hung his jacket on the back of the chair. The red and black flannel darkened at the cuffs from the night before. Bruno lay down beside the desk, black and tan body relaxed but alert. Harness still on, white lettering clear and unyielding. Service dog. Do not pet. Cole reviewed routine logs, fingers steady on the keyboard. He did not think about the woman from the night before. He did not think about the kid with the phone. Thinking about things did not help. Work did. The call came sooner than he expected. "Mercer," a voice said through the intercom. "Conference room C, now." No greeting. No explanation. Cole stood, clipped the leash to Bruno's harness, and walked the long corridor lined with framed photos of container ships and smiling executives. The ache in his left leg flared briefly, then settled. He had learned how to move through pain without letting it slow him. Inside the conference room, the air was tight. Evelyn Hart stood at the head of the table, posture straight, tailored navy suit, immaculate. In daylight, she looked even more controlled than she had the night before. Her expression was calm, but the muscles in her jaw told another story. She was under pressure. Seated to her right was Derek Vaughn, the company's chief financial officer. He was 42, clean cut, with a confident smile that never quite reached his eyes. His dark suit fit perfectly, his tie precisely centered, his watch expensive and intentional. Derek's gaze slid to Cole, then away. Dismissive. A young woman sat near the end of the table, legs crossed, phone resting in her hand like an extension of herself. She couldn't have been older than 19. Long dark hair, sharp eyeliner, restless energy. Tessa Vaughn, Derek's daughter. Cole recognized the type instantly. Too bored to be careful. Too confident to be kind. Mr. Mercer, Evelyn said. Sit. Cole did. Bruno settled at his feet, head up, watching. Derek tapped a button on the screen. The video played. It was the clip from the street, or part of it. Cole saw himself from an angle that cut off context. He saw Bruno, frozen, mid-frame. He heard his own voice, isolated, sharp without the calm around it. Don't. The clip ended. Tessa smiled faintly, eyes flicking between faces, gauging reactions. Derek leaned back in his chair. This was uploaded late last night. It's gaining attention. Not exactly the image we want during the holidays. Evelyn's eyes moved to Cole, not curious, evaluating. Do you have anything to say? She asked. Cole chose his words carefully. The dog is a service animal. Someone tried to touch him while he was working. I stopped them. Silence. Derek gave a soft chuckle. Perception matters to the public. This looks aggressive, unprofessional. Cole felt something tighten in his chest, not anger. Something older, the familiar weight of being judged by a frame someone else chose. Evelyn exhaled, slow. Mr. Mercer, you're contracted maintenance. Your job is to avoid situations like this. Maintenance. The word landed harder than it should have. Yes, ma'am, Cole said. Tessa tilted her head. He kind of looks scary, though. The dog, too. Bruno's ears twitched. He did not move. Evelyn said nothing to correct her. Derek seized the opening. This raises concerns about oversight. If our contractors behave this way in public, it reflects on leadership. Evelyn's shoulders stiffened. Cole saw the pressure bear down on her, saw the calculation in her eyes. He understood it too well. The instinct to cut away anything that might threaten stability. Mr. Mercer, Evelyn said, voice cool. Submit a written report and avoid unnecessary engagement outside your scope. Cole nodded. He stood. Bruno rose with him. As he reached the door, a sharp alarm cut through the building. Red lights flashed. Dock 3, a voice announced. Unauthorized access. Derek's head snapped up. That shipment is sealed. Cole was already moving. He did not wait for permission. He ran. The rain made the pavement slick, but his feet found rhythm. Bruno matched him stride for stride. They reached the dock entrance to find confusion. A security gate hung half open. A camera above it blinked uselessly. Its lens angled away. Cole crouched, inspected the control panel. The damage was subtle, intentional. This wasn't random, he muttered. He rerouted power, fingers flying, muscle memory taking over. Bruno paced once, then stopped, staring at a shadowed corner. There, Cole said. A figure bolted. Cole gave chase, leg protesting, breath steady. He cornered the man long enough to knock a device from his hand. Then the intruder vanished into the rain. The system came back online seconds later. When Cole returned to the dock office, Evelyn was there, hair damp, eyes sharp. You stopped it, she said. Yes. How? Cole shrugged. Same way I stop most things. Before they finish, behind her, Derek's face had gone pale, just for a moment. Enough. Evelyn looked at Cole differently now. Not as maintenance, not as a problem, but regret had already begun its work. 10 minutes. That was all it took. The line between power and fear. Night returned to Savannah with heavier rain. Wind pushing sheets of water across the harbor lights, while the river swallowed reflections and gave nothing back. Cole Mercer walked the perimeter near Dock 7, collar of his red and black flannel turned up against the cold. Bruno stayed close, the black harness dark with rain, white letters still visible under the lamps. Service dog. Do not pet. Cole preferred nights like this. Fewer people, fewer eyes. After the morning meeting, he had felt the old instinct to withdraw, to become smaller than the space he occupied. Years ago, that instinct had kept him alive. It had also kept him alone. He replayed the meeting without meaning to. Evelyn Hart's face when the clip played, controlled, tight. The way she had used his job title like a shield, or maybe a blade. Cole did not blame her. Pressure bent people into shapes they did not recognize anymore. Bruno slowed. Cole stopped instantly. The sound came next. Tires. Too slow. Too careful. A black SUV rolled along the service road parallel to the docks. Headlights dimmed. It matched pace, then fell back, then crept forward again. Cole's jaw set. He had seen this pattern before. Not here. Somewhere else. Somewhere hotter. Somewhere louder. He touched Bruno's harness once, a silent signal. They changed direction abruptly, moving toward a warehouse wall where light was poor and rain distorted shadows. The SUV hesitated, then accelerated. Move, Cole said. They ran. The vehicle cut sharply, blocking the narrow road ahead. A door opened. A man stepped out, tall, wearing a dark hooded jacket. His posture was stiff, rehearsed. Cole stopped 10 feet away, body angled, weight off his injured leg. Bruno stood at his side, muscles tight, eyes locked. Evening, Cole said. Calm, even. The man raised his hand slightly. I'm just here to talk. Not how you do it, Cole replied. Another door opened. A second figure emerged, slimmer, movements quicker. The rain slicked her hair to her face. Evelyn Hart. She looked nothing like the CEO from the boardroom. Her coat was unbuttoned, rain-soaked. Her breathing was shallow. Her eyes darted, not from fear of Cole, but from the space behind him. Mr. Mercer, she said. Her voice wavered, just enough. Cole's focus sharpened. Who's with you? She hesitated. The hesitation told him everything. Before she could answer, the first man moved closer. Too close, Bruno growled. Low, controlled. A warning, not a threat. Back, Cole said. The man scoffed. Control your dog. He is controlled. Cole said. You aren't. The second man shifted his weight. Cole saw the outline under the jacket. Not a weapon. A camera, smaller, handheld. Cole's eyes flicked to Evelyn. You followed. She swallowed. I didn't feel safe alone. The words cost her something. Cole could hear it. A woman used to command did not admit fear easily. The man with the camera lifted it slightly. Rain splattered the lens. Company business, he said. Just documenting. Cole stepped forward one pace. Pain flared in his leg, white hot. Then steadied. Turn it off. The man laughed. You don't get to tell me what. Bruno lunged one step. Not attacking. Blocking. The camera slipped from the man's hand. Hit the ground. Cracked. Everything froze. The first man cursed and reached for his partner. We're done. They retreated fast. Back into the SUV. Tires squealing as they vanished into the rain. Silence returned, broken only by water dripping from steel beams. Evelyn sagged slightly, then straightened as if remembering herself. She wrapped her coat tighter, arms crossed, shoulders trembling despite the effort to hide it. Thank you, she said. Cole nodded once. You shouldn't be here. I know. She hesitated, then added, I think they were sent by Vaughn. She did not deny it. They stood beneath a flickering light. Rain streaked down, cold and relentless. Evelyn stared at the ground, then at Bruno, then finally at Cole. He scares me, she said quietly. Not like this. Not physically. The way he waits. Cole understood. Predators don't rush. Her eyes lifted. You speak like you know. I do. Something shifted between them. Not trust yet. Recognition. Evelyn exhaled slowly. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that this morning. Cole said nothing. I used your job to put distance between us, she continued. Because distance feels safer. It usually does, Cole said. But not always, she said. A beat passed. Bruno shook himself. Water flying. The moment broke just enough to let Evelyn breathe again. I don't know why I'm telling you this, she said. I don't talk about being afraid. Cole looked toward the dark water beyond the docks. You don't look weak when you do. She studied his profile. The scar near his temple. The way he favored his left leg without apology. And you, she said. You don't look like someone who hides. Cole almost smiled. Almost. Walk you back, he said. Not a question. They moved together toward the lights. Bruno between them. Leash slack. Evelyn's steps slowed to match Cole's. She did not rush ahead. She did not fall behind. For the first time since the storm, Evelyn's heart felt something loosen in her chest. Not safety, but the beginning of it. When the trap snaps shut. Morning broke hard over Savannah, rain easing into a thin gray drizzle, while clouds hung low above the port, pressing the city into a quiet, uneasy stillness. Cole Mercer stood outside the security office, collar of his red and black flannel turned up, steam rising faintly from his breath. Bruno sat beside him, calm and solid, black and tan coat brushed clean, harness secure. Service dog, do not pet. Cole had slept little, not because of fear, but because instinct would not let go. Something had shifted the night before. When people who liked shadows began stepping into light, it usually meant desperation. Inside the building, tension moved faster than sound. Phones buzzed. Doors closed too quickly. Conversations stopped when Cole passed. He felt it the way he once felt changes in air before a firefight. The company was bracing for impact. He was called upstairs again, this time not to conference room C, the boardroom. The space was larger, colder. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the river, though today it looked like dull steel. At the far end of the table sat Frank Bishop, chairman of the board. 60 years old, silver hair neatly combed, posture rigid with old-school discipline. Frank was not loud, but when he spoke, people listened. He believed in order, reputation, and consequences. Evelyn Hart stood near the screen, hands clasped behind her back. She wore a dark suit, sharper than usual, her face composed. Only Cole noticed the faint shadow beneath her eyes. Derek Vaughn sat 2 seats away, relaxed to the point of arrogance. His suit was flawless, his expression neutral, almost bored. He looked like a man certain the room belonged to him. Tessa Vaughn leaned against the wall near the back, phone in hand, as always. Her confidence from the night before was gone. Her eyes darted, restless. She had the look of someone who realized, too late, that she had stepped onto moving ground. Nina Delgado sat quietly near Frank, legal pad in front of her. 33, sharp-eyed. Hair pulled back tight. Nina did not waste words. She collected them, lined them up, and used them only when they mattered. Frank cleared his throat. We've received media inquiries this morning, he said, concerning behavior by our CEO. Derek leaned forward slightly. Unfortunate timing, but perception is perception. Evelyn did not look at him. Frank gestured to the screen. The images appeared one by one. Photos of Evelyn and Cole walking near the docks. Cole standing close. Bruno visible at his side. Cropped, framed, misleading. Cole felt the familiar pull to step back, to remove himself from the picture. But he stayed still. This, Derek said calmly, raises questions about judgment. A CEO, alone, after hours with a contractor. No witnesses, no documentation. Evelyn finally turned. There were witnesses, she said. You just didn't expect them to matter. She nodded to Nina. Nina stood, movements precise, We pulled system logs from Dock 3, she said. Timestamps align with Mr. Mercer's report from yesterday morning. We also reviewed security footage from the perimeter. She tapped the tablet. New images replaced the old. 2 men near the docks, cameras in hand, faces partially hidden. A black SUV, the same one from the night before. Then another clip, a hand adjusting a camera angle inside the warehouse. A familiar watch glinting under fluorescent light. Derek's watch. The room went still. Frank's gaze hardened. Explain. Derek smiled thinly. Coincidence. Nina did not react. We cross-referenced financial records. Payments routed through a shell consulting firm. Funds released 2 weeks ago. Tessa's breath caught. She stared at the screen, then at her father. Her phone slipped from her fingers and clattered softly to the floor. Frank leaned back, fingers steepled. You arranged surveillance. You manipulated public narrative. Derek's mask cracked just slightly. I protected the company. No, Frank said. You protected yourself. Evelyn spoke then, her voice steady. Mr. Mercer stopped a staged breach. He prevented theft. He protected company assets while being publicly undermined. She turned to Cole. He did so without authority, recognition, or incentive. Cole shifted his weight, leg aching, but his gaze remained level. Bruno stayed seated, watching, waiting. Frank nodded slowly. This board does not reward sabotage. He looked at Derek. You are suspended, pending investigation. The word landed heavy. Derek stood abruptly. You're making a mistake. No, Frank said. You did. Security moved in. Derek's confidence collapsed into something smaller, angrier. He glanced at Tessa, but she would not meet his eyes. Tessa whispered, I didn't know it would go this far. Nina closed her folder. It always does. When the room emptied, only Evelyn, Cole, Bruno, and Frank remained. Frank studied Cole for a long moment. You're not where you should be, he said finally. Cole answered honestly. I'm where I ended up. Frank considered that. Sometimes that's temporary. Evelyn stepped closer to Cole. I'm sorry, she said. For the room. For the word maintenance. Cole met her eyes. Apology accepted. It was simple. Real. Outside, the drizzle slowed. Light crept back into the city. The trap had snapped shut, and the one who set it was caught inside. The choice that changed the tide. The rain finally lifted over Savannah, leaving the city washed clean. Sunlight breaking through low clouds as the river shimmered softly beside the docks. Cole Mercer stood near the edge of the port, red and black flannel hanging open over a dark shirt, hands resting at his sides. Bruno sat close, calm as ever, black and tan coat catching the light, harness firm and clear. Service dog. Do not pet. For the first time in days, the city felt quiet in a way that meant something had ended. Cole watched container cranes move in the distance, slow and deliberate. Big machines doing honest work. He liked that. Machines did not lie. They either worked or they did not. People were more complicated. He heard footsteps behind him but did not turn. Mr. Mercer. Evelyn Hart's voice carried differently now. Softer. Not weaker. Just real. She stood a few steps back, hands in the pockets of a long gray coat. Without the boardroom lights, she looked younger, tired, human. Her posture was still straight, but the tension that once held her rigid had eased. I didn't want to do this in my office, she said. Too many walls. Cole nodded. Walls have a way of staying. She stepped closer, careful not to crowd him. Bruno glanced up at her, then settled again. Acceptance, not affection. Yet. I've been thinking about what you said, Evelyn continued, about ending up where you end up. Cole did not answer. He waited. I built my life on control, she said. Every decision calculated, every weakness hidden. It kept me safe, or I thought it did. She looked out over the water. Then Derek tried to destroy me using fear. And I realized something. I've been afraid for a long time. Cole felt a familiar pull in his chest. Not pity. Recognition. I saw it in you, she said. The way you move. You don't look for power. You just take responsibility. That's not always rewarded, Cole said. No, she agreed. But it should be placed correctly. She turned to face him fully now. I want to offer you a position, not maintenance, not contract work. Cole's jaw tightened. He had expected this and feared it. Head of Technical Security Operations, she said. You'd oversee systems, people, response, protocols. You already do half of it. This would make it official. He shook his head slowly. I don't belong in that world. You already saved it, Evelyn replied, more than once. Cole looked down at Bruno, then back at the cranes. He thought of years spent keeping his head down, of being useful but unseen, of the quiet belief that this was all he deserved. What happens when I don't fit? He asked. When I say the wrong thing, walk the wrong way. Remind people I'm not one of them. Evelyn stepped closer, voice steady. Then they'll learn. That surprised him. I won't promise it will be easy, she continued. I won't promise politics disappear, but I can promise this. I won't let anyone use your silence against you again. Cole studied her face. He saw no performance there, just resolve. And this, she added. Quieter now. Isn't a transaction. The words mattered. He exhaled slowly. I don't make decisions fast. I know, Evelyn said. Take the day. She turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing. She met his eyes. Thank you for standing between me and something I didn't know how to face. After she left, Cole stayed by the water a long time. Bruno pressed against his leg, steady and warm. You hear that? Cole murmured. They want us upstairs. Bruno's tail thumped once. That evening, Savannah glowed under clear skies. Lights reflected off wet stone, softer now. Cole walked through the city without feeling watched. He found Evelyn again near the docks, leaning against a railing, coat open to the breeze. She looked different in the quiet, less guarded. I'll take the job, Cole said. She turned, relief flickering across her face before she could hide it. But, he added, on my terms. She smiled. A real one. I wouldn't expect anything else. They stood there as the river moved past them, neither rushing to fill the space between words. Bruno lay down. Content. Cole realized something then. Not everything that healed came loudly. Some things changed because two people chose not to turn away. Savannah breathed around them, calm and open. And for the first time in a long while, Cole Mercer allowed himself to imagine a future that did not require hiding. Sometimes the miracle is not thunder or fire from the sky. Sometimes it is a quiet moment when truth steps forward and fear steps back. Sometimes it is a door that closes on injustice and opens on grace. Faith often works this way. Not loud, not rushed, but steady, like a hand placed on your shoulder at the exact moment you think you are alone. This story reminds us that God sees what people overlook. He sees the one who works in silence. He sees the heart that chooses right when no one is watching. And when the time is right, he brings hidden things into the light, not to shame the humble, but to correct the proud and lift the weary. In everyday life, we may feel small, unseen, or misplaced, but purpose does not depend on titles or power. It depends on obedience, courage, and the willingness to stand between wrong and what is right. Trust that God is working, even when the path feels unfair. Trust that no good act is wasted. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe to the channel for more stories of faith, justice, and quiet strength. May God bless you and keep you safe wherever you are.